started to see our teachers buy into the importance of students being active learners for the majority of the period, the importance of student-to-student interactions, of student voice being the dominant voice in the classroom.
It's basically just explaining what's the difference between them.
Talking to each other, make sure you take notes, listen, if you have any questions, ask questions, all right?
We have actually seen teacher practice shift, actual instructional shifts from teacher-led classrooms to active student learning, where now speaking and listening, it is embedded throughout our classrooms.
Our main focus at Metropolitan has been and is currently speaking and listening, building speaking and listening skills in our students through academic conversations, student-led discussions, all centered on text.
Shaquana, can you hold up your moderator paper? Cool, Shaquana is your moderator, so she is starting off the discussion. She's gonna make sure it stays on track. And by on track, I mean the conversation is based on your poems.
Anybody got questions?
I have a question. My question was, how do you know this speaker loves this girl that he's describing in a poem?
Because he said he loved her more than Bahus, salt, and topaz, which are gemstones.
The metacognitive stems were developed as a way of building higher order thinking skills in the classroom, especially during student-led text-based discussions. You'll see students using the tool during conversations as a way of showing their thinking. If they need help with a sentence starter and conversation, they can access the metacognitive stems, which are taped on every desk in every classroom. And it is also a way of building confidence in their discussion.
She's writing it because she wants her words to be as strong as what she feels.
Right. Just like a sword, words can be graceful. I said she preferred her pen to be as sharp with words as a sword is in battle and still hold the same amount of grace and respect as a sword.
It can make you open up or not be as shy with your peers as like when you're having discussion, like you have that support because you're all on the same page, you know what I'm saying? Like you're all going through it together. You're all learning and understanding it together. So if you hear everybody's perspective and mindset towards a topic or whatever you're discussing, it helps you.
This focus on speaking and listening has helped my instruction in huge ways. First of all, it puts less of the pressure on the teacher and more of the focus on the student. They become the center of the classroom environment. You see stronger writing products, you hear academic conversations that are fluid and natural, and it's all about handing over that power to our students.
All right, so cool. So here, this is what we're gonna do. So with this discussion tracker, so what it is gonna be your evidence of the STEM that you use. So part of it, what we're gonna focus on is making predictions, making inferences. So let's say in the discussion you made an inference, so you check and say, I use this STEM, right? So now I'm not here, all I'll be doing, I'll be going around again. Remember, I'm checking to see if you guys are actually doing these things, right? Based on the goals that we set. Are you guys discussing? Are you guys using the right body language? So I'll be checking off. That's what I'll be looking for.
You said how Africans were better with agriculture production and stuff like that. So he probably said, you know what, let's bring the Africans in. They could bring more profit, more economic profit.
To add on to what she said, I don't think he was justified, because in a way it's like him saying that they're superior in a way, because what's the difference between like an Indian and an African? That's why I didn't really get about it. Like
the Africans, they're stronger in a way that they're like going to do agriculture farming.
I agree that they were stronger, but I don't think that he was justified because they weren't getting paid and their working conditions weren't suitable for them.
We were sharing ideas about the Great Migrations and how they affected societies and how it had impact on societies, on if it was negative or positive. And at first, I thought it was a positive thing for the Great Migrations, but then I realized it was also negative from what my peers was like explaining from the documents and what they were saying.
Again, you gotta look at it from both point of view, either Europeans or natives, right?
Well, for the
So be careful
Europeans,
with
it was profitable for the Europeans, but it was like, I don't know how to explain it really. Like, it was just devastating for the Africans because they was getting enslaved and tortured and stuff. Like,
I think Jania, that was here earlier, she's like, you know what? I'm changing my mind based on, added information that they got from the discussion. I like to see that because that means they're processing the information, they're thinking, it's changing. They're interacting with it. And I think, to me, that helps a lot. And now when it comes to the writing, they have all this information they can add to the writing where it's going to elevate them and push them, because one of the biggest things we're looking at is how to get students to be more analytical now. Again, the higher order thinking now is, okay, what is the learning that came out of that? Right? I understand this happened and this happened. What inference are you able to make? They would use language from the rubric to kind of grade themselves. So now they would have to grade themselves, give a grade and justify it. And now they would have to also tell me, okay, so what do you need to do to improve on this essay?
One thing I might need to work on next time is to expand my thoughts, say more, basically.
To elaborate?
Yeah, to elaborate.
When you get to college, you're not gonna have anybody to tell you, hey, listen, you need to fix this essay, whatever. And that's where every day we supporting and we trying to we getting the students to go towards.
When the students come to us, they have had some problems in their previous school. So I noticed that they're shy, they're timid, they don't have any confidence, their fluency isn't great, their vocabulary isn't great. But working with the Institute and using the tools that we developed, I noticed that after a few weeks, the students become more and more confident, where you can then start to break away from that teacher in the front of the room to having a student in front of the room, to really engaging in speaking and listening activities.
Their bone structure was much bigger than ours.